Hi, this is Dee Wallace, the mom from E.T., and you're listening to Flashback with Wes Britton, and we're having a lot of fun.
Well, hi, folks. Welcome back to Flashback, and welcome back to our guest of honor today, whose name is Dee Wallace. And this is not the first time Dee has appeared on our show. Actually, this is the third time I've interviewed her. Back in October of 2023, we had a kind of a strange circumstance. It was right in the middle of the SAG Guild actors strike, and we weren't allowed to mention any of her screen work. Somewhere in the middle of the interview, we did this quick little coded. She was the star of a movie with two initials, and that was about as much as we could say. So, well, today we can talk all we want to about her movies, and probably with a good deal about her horror movies, because one of the reasons we're gathering together today is Dee is going to be a guest at the Horror on Main convention in Harrisburg the last week in June 27th, 28th, 29th. So, the big stuff they've got there going on so far, but they usually have a lot others. And, well, it's a lot of fun. I've been there. So it'll be my chance to meet Dee. So, hi, Dee. You ready to talk about horror movies? And then we'll get on to I don't have no idea what.
Wherever we want to, baby.
There you go.
Yeah, I forgot. Was that the last time we couldn't mention any? Oh, my God. That was something, wasn't it?
That was a season. So it's hard on these radio shows.
That was a big challenge for you, running a show like that. But anyway, here we are. I'm thrilled I'll be back in PA. Most of my family lives back in Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah, what part?
Kind of around Doylestown.
Okay.
And so hopefully, maybe, they'll be able to come down and see me. Excuse me. So, yeah, this is a nice convention because usually they hold their guest list at what I consider a little more reasonable number, so that we have more time to interact with the fans. And, you know, after all, that's why we're there, right?
That's why we're there, yeah. We fans, yeah.
For sure. And us too. You know, I love to hear everybody's stories and how the films affected their lives, and I really enjoy all of that. Some actors just go to make the bucks, but yeah. I really enjoy interacting with the fans.
If you do these conventions a lot, what are the most typical questions that fans ask you?
Did you know when you did it that E.T. was going to be such a big hit?
My guess would be no.
You never know. You just go in and do the best you can do. And, yeah, fate kind of takes it from there. But I don't think any real creative person ever goes in to a project saying, okay, we're going to go in to make the biggest of all time. You know, you go in to creatively do the best you can and bring the most reality and creativity to the project that you're doing. And then the public kind of takes over from there and decides if it's the right time, if they're hooking into it, if they love it, you know. Not up to us after that.
Well, for you, it was kind of early in your career, wasn't it? You made a few movies before that. Oh, by the way, folks, I forgot to mention, did you know that Dee has made over 300 film appearances?
Yep, I've been pretty busy. I've got 3 on the books already for this year. And we're talking about a 4th one.
And it's very early in the year. Congratulations.
You know, I just like to stay busy, and I like to do really challenging roles, Wes.
I remember that's one of the reasons why you like doing horror movies, is they give you some meat to work with.
Yeah, and they usually give you a big arc to play and some great emotional life. And, you know, I didn't go looking for horror. Horror sure found me. And I'm glad it did. I mean, I love doing the Lifetime movies and the Hallmark movies and the Sweet Moms. And sometimes I like to be that brutal, kooky, out there crazy lady that lives next door and might just murder you.
Well, let's see, some of the titles she's got, Halloween, The Howling, Cujo, The Hills Have Eyes. Which are your favorite? Do you have any favorite horror movies? Or are they all just wonderful?
Well, they're all wonderful for different reasons, but if I had to pick one, it would be Cujo.
Okay.
I just feel like I went as far as I could go, as truthfully as I could go there. Of course, I love and adore E.T. and The Howling and The Frighteners.
Yeah.
But Cujo it kind of asked me to rip my soul out and throw it up on the screen.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
You know? And I did.
My goodness, that seems so long ago, but I guess it really was. Well, no, I guess it really was.
82, yeah.
82, yeah. That was after E.T. I thought for a spell that the only kind of roles you were getting offered other than horror movies was to repeat Mother Mary over and over and over again. They wanted that sweet mama, right?
Well, there are moms and then there are moms. You know? The mom in E.T. wasn't anything close to the mom in Cujo.
Well, that's for sure.
And, you know, there are mommies and then there are mothers.
Yeah.
And, but I do seem to know and attract roles about a mother who would do anything for their child. Which is a part I know really well because I had a mother who did that.
Yeah. Yeah, anything you'd like to share about your background with the folks that they might want to know that they didn't know about you?
Well, I don't know what they know. I come from a very poor family. We lived most of my life with my grandparents. My father was an incredibly brilliant, creative man who created the first discount store in America. But he, from the war, became a very severe alcoholic, and pretty much by the time I was 6 or 7 years old, he was too sick with alcoholism to really function. My mom held down 1 or 2 jobs and took us to church and taught me how to act, and so my childhood is definitely a dichotomy of a lot of love and a lot of drama in the house. I watched my very, very strong mother take care of everything. So I relate to those parts in a very personal way.
Like I remember you saying something about you kind of grew up thinking that the role of women was to take care of men.
Yeah. Well, that's all I witnessed growing up. Both my grandfathers were severely ill with strokes. My dad was an alcoholic, so all I did was watch my grandmothers and my mother take care of their husbands. And, I have a whole healing practice also.
We were getting there.
and work with clients all over the world. And a child's brain is locked into what they're taught or modeled from conception to 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So my brain said, well, that's the way the world works. Women have to take care of men. So I practiced getting out of that all my life.
Yeah. Too, you made some really dramatic life choices, because you were out there in Kansas as a school teacher and decided one day, I'm going to New York, I'm going to be an actress. Was that how it happened?
Yep. I taught a year of high school, and everybody said, are you crazy? You don't know anybody. Nobody knows you. And I said, thanks for sharing. I'm going anyway. So I did, and in less than 7 years, I starred in E.T. It's a very Hollywood story.
It's true.
The same thing happened when I finally decided I wanted to have a baby. And 6 specialists told me I would never get pregnant. And I said, thanks for sharing. I'm going to go have a baby anyway. Took me 6 years, and I did a lot of acupuncture and stuff. But I have my baby. She is 36 now.
What to say? Not my baby no more.
No, but she just gave me a baby.
Ah, yes.
And he is 16 months old and the apple of my eye.
I'm sure.
Oh, my God, that kid is just pure joy.
Well, you alluded to it earlier, because one of the things you just mentioned fit in with it well, your interest in life coaching and life creation. What do you mean by life creation?
I mean, we have the responsibility and the honor and the opportunity to create our own lives. We are here in embodiment to learn the direction of energy and self-creation. That's why, we were put on this plane, chose to incarnate on this plane to learn creation and to take responsibility for our thoughts, our perspectives, and especially our belief systems, because the good book was right. As you believe, it's delivered to you, baby cakes. As we believe, that's the life we lead. So if you really want to change your life, you go in and really look at your belief systems.
Now, who helped shape your path in all of this? You must have read some interesting books or met some interesting teachers. Who were your guides?
Oh, like life does for all of us if we are cognizant and present. It was a journey. I was raised in a semi-religious house. We were Methodists. My brother actually was a minister for a while. So I just remember sitting in church when I was about 8 years old and hearing the preacher talk about fire and brimstone, and I turned to my grandma and I said, he's wrong. God doesn't ever get mad. He never judges any of us, Grandma. I don't know what he's talking about. I just knew. And I studied philosophy. I have a minor in philosophy from college, and I found this amazing acting teacher named Charles Conrad, who taught a lot about energy and how energy opens. He didn't use these words, but what he taught was how to open up your channel so that the character literally works through you. And then I did Cujo, and I blew out all my adrenals.
Okay.
Because your body and your brain don't know you're acting. So when you do a project like Cujo and you're 10 weeks in fight or flight, your body doesn't know, and it uses all your adrenaline. And that took me to a doctor who did kinesiology and muscle testing, which led me to another doctor who worked with a pendulum around energy. And you just start putting all these things together, and there's a very clear message and pattern. And so I started attending Science of Mind, which is not Scientology. It's literally your thoughts create your life. Then I started studying brain science, and I went, well, my God, brain science is saying the same thing as all the spiritual teachers are saying. And, of course, I started listening to Abraham Hicks, which I still do, and reading Deepak Chopra, and reading Ramtha, and Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh. All the principles just started to emerge. And I thought to myself, my God, creation is pretty easy. And then my channel said, you got to do this. And I said, why me? And my channel said, because you're the girl from Kansas and you can say it like everybody can understand it. So I said, okay, you're not going to use my mind or my body. I'm not going to take on anybody's energy. All I want is to objectively receive the highest information, the highest knowledge, and the highest understanding. Now, energy, and that's all there is energy, has to be directed if you're going to get the energy to create what you want. Just like if you want ice, you got to put water in the ice tray, put the ice tray in the fridge, wait 3 hours, take it out, and you've got ice. Well, pretty much we create everything the same way. What do you want? Commit to it. Feel excitement and love around it, and tell the universe, come on, let's go, create this with me. That's pretty much it. And we make it so hard. So I've made it my job to make it really easy. My latest book, Born, Giving Birth to a New You, available on Amazon. You know, that's what the whole book is simple steps that help you learn how to choose your thoughts, choose your beliefs, because honestly, Wes, most of our beliefs aren't ours. They're somebody else's. Like after E.T., for a year, I would just want to pull back and get smaller, and I couldn't figure out what was going on because I was getting everything I wanted. And then I heard my grandmother, who really helped raise me, I was really close to her, I would hear her say, they're the rich people. We are the good people. Well, that's a very popular teaching.
That's true.
Religion. So I sat there and I went, Well, that's not a belief I want, and actually not a belief I know is true. I am in charge of my own consciousness.
Yeah.
I can use my consciousness to create a lot of money and do a lot of good with my money. That's up to me. And then I started making a lot of money again.
Well, one thing that I've learned along the way is spiritual training and spiritual understanding is good, but you've got to take it beyond yourself. You've got to reach out and help other people, right? Well,
sure. Because, look, if we live in love, which is a simple concept, if you literally live love, your world works. And part of living love is sharing that love. And you can share love with a smile. You can share love opening a door for somebody who has 5 coffees in their hand. You can stop and give a homeless person some money or some food. That's what I did the other day. There was this guy standing out in the pouring rain, and I thought, I need to give him something. And I was on my way to Starbucks, and I bought 4 $20 gift cards that I could give out to the homeless, because I thought, then I know they're going to go in, they're going to get something to eat, they're going to get a warm drink, and not going to go buy alcohol or whatever.
You control, yeah.
You know, and you know, when I worked in Portland, Oregon, I don't know if they still have it, but they had a whole program where anybody could go in and buy vouchers, and you would hand them out to the homeless, and they could go into any restaurant or coffee shop, and that voucher was honored. And I really think every city should start a program like that.
And for folks who don't know, not only have you got your 7 books out, at least so far, but you do a lot of personal appearances, and you've got a radio show to talk about all this kind of stuff, right?
I do. It's Sunday morning, Pacific time. If you go to my website, guys, IamDeeWallace.com. It's on the home page, and it'll tell you how to call in over the internet.
That's right. People can call in and talk to you.
That's right. Well, they can talk to me and ask questions and guidance from the channel that I bring in.
And you also do personal, I don't know what the word for it would be, but sessions, right?
Oh, yeah. 3 or 4 a day. Yeah, I have 4 today. I squeezed you in because I wanted to talk to you.
Well, thank you. And you're talking about movies this time amidst all this life creation stuff.
Well, you know, people say to me, my gosh, Dee, you're an older woman in the business. How do you keep working? And I say, because I have no belief systems that older women in the business don't work. You know, not a belief that's going to give me what I want, is it?
One of the things I do on this show is 99% of the people I interview are in their 70s or in their 80s, and they're creators of different kinds, actors, actresses, musicians, producers, what you name it, and they're all still at it because they want to be. Some will say it's for money, but most it's fulfillment. It's what they've done all their lives. It's who they are as people. Why wouldn't you want to keep on going?
Exactly. People ask me when I'm going to retire. I said, what the hell does that word mean?
Really?
You know? I want to stay young and vital and interesting and knowledgeable until I decide to move over.
Yeah. Survive the next 4 years. Oh, Lordy.
What are you referring to, darling?
Oh, goodness. Oh, yeah. I mean, I think I'll just leave that alone.
Look,
politically.
I just want to say to everybody, the next 4 years, a lot will depend on where your focus is.
That's what we're trying to get to, is what the changes that we need to instigate.
Focus on what you want and feel good about it. Don't get all involved in the fear and the drama. That's what they want. That whatever your attention feeds, you will create more of. So let's focus on civility and love and respect for one another. Right? Focus and bring a lot of love into that.
Yeah, we're going to fight the darkness, that's for sure.
Well, I think whatever you fight, you create more of.
Ooh.
So I just say, be the light, be the love. If you are the light and the love, there's nothing to fight.
Good point. I hadn't thought of it that way. Interesting.
Big facts, babe.
Well...
Joke.
Okay, well, yeah. Well, my head was spinning. I was, thinking about what you said. And I was also thinking, you said you got 3 movies coming up, and I was going to ask you to get back into the entertainment groove for a bit. What can folks look forward to see you in next year or so?
Well, I haven't shot them yet. There are things that I did, some wonderful movies. A couple of them, more of the light family comedy kind of stuff that I did last year. I don't know when they will be released or the titles they'll be released under. But I can tell you I'm really proud of everything that I have coming out so far.
Have you kept up with Steven Spielberg at all?
Well, no.
Okay.
I see him at events and stuff like that, but we don't call each other and go, "Hey, Steven, how are you?"
Yeah, gotcha.
Have a coffee today. We're not on that friendship level.
Gotcha. So I am DeeWallace.com, the Sunday morning, the radio show. What kind of questions do you usually field in the talk show?
People usually want career advice, a lot of health questions, a lot of clarification questions on the creation process. Because, guys, if you know how to create anything, you know how to create everything. And, gosh, I'm just finishing tonight a 2-week program where we met for an hour Monday through Friday. The group met together on Zoom. My gosh, it ended up being 50 times better than I ever imagined it would have turned out. It's just been an incredible 2 weeks of really refining and understanding how to create. And it's just really invaluable. Of course, it'll be available online if anybody wants to buy it and download it. It will be available, and you can watch just like you're live sitting there.
If there were some hot points from that seminar that you might want to share with folks, what would they be? What would be the greatest hits?
Gosh, I think number one is that people, nothing outside of them is needed, and nothing outside of them can prevent them in creating what they want. Everything that you create is created within you first. And then, and this is brain science stuff, the vibration that you are feeling and experiencing from your belief systems, whatever you're feeling shoots out a frequency into the energy, the universe, and it's the universe's job to match whatever you send out. So if you want your life to change, you have to learn to choose the beliefs and the perspectives that match what you want, and consciously train your brain and your energy to go to the positives of what you want. We are taught from the time we can understand anything to say what we want by saying what we don't want, for example. When I go out and up on stage, and I said, okay, tell me what you want. I don't want to have to worry about money. Great, tell me what you want. Well, I don't want to be so stressed out about money. Good, tell me what you want. This can go on for 20 minutes. I'm not kidding. Until they get so pissed off at me, they go, God, I want more money, Dee. And I said, now we can start, because that's the first time you told me what you wanted. The universe doesn't care what you don't want. The universe only cares about what you send out, and that's what the universe matches. So if you keep sending out, my God, I don't have enough money, I never have enough money, the universe goes, all right, I'll match that.
Oh.
It keeps sending you back experiences of not having enough money. And then we call it karma. But it's really belief systems that keep repeating themselves. Make sense to you?
Absolutely makes perfect sense to me.
Okay, good.
All the repeated experiences that I could have done without, but I guess I couldn't have. I guess I needed to go through them, because I never had any money. Well, that's sure.
I can tell you, you never had any money because you had some belief that supported you not creating it.
I'll have to analyze that one for a while, because I did work pretty hard at doing things. What I have to admit, money was never my motivator. It's not about how hard
you work, sweetheart. Hasn't anything to do. Hold on, I'll tell you your belief. This page here. I do not have permission to love who I am. And that, by the way, is another very prevalent belief that we're taught. Keep yourself small. Don't, even to yourself, don't acknowledge how great you are. God will love you more, you'll get into heaven better, and people won't think you're egotistical. And it's just not true. God never said that. Man said God said that, but God said, these miracles and more will you do also. Well, we can't do miracles if we keep saying we're not great and powerful. But we have to accept that. Did I lose you?
No, you didn't lose me. Again, I'm digesting. I listen when I'm listening.
Well, good. I appreciate that.
No, absolutely. It was, following what you were saying and not trying to anticipate what to do next, which is downfall for an interviewer, but what the hell.
You're funny, Wes.
I have my moments. Well, is there anything else you would like to talk about before we ride up into the sunset?
Well, love.
Okay.
Love is, if you want to know the answer to everything, it's love, guys. According to my channel, whatever you want, love it more. You want more money, love money. You want better relationships, love relationships. You want to be more successful, love all your work and serving people and helping them. Whatever you want, like your health. Quit trying to fix everything. And love your health.
Should definitely use some work on that.
Feel the difference in when you focus on fixing something in your body and focusing on celebrating the health of your body. they're two entirely different frequencies that you shoot out there.
Mm.
So which one do you want the universe to match? That's pretty easy, pretty easy answer, I would think.
Yeah, I would say, yeah. Yeah, I think I could keep going on this direction for hours if I don't have to keep thinking of questions. Just let you go for it.
Well, there's a lot of free things on my site, on my website. I am DeeWallace.com. A lot of free stuff, guys, that you can go and go, well, I'm kind of interested in what she was saying. Let me check it out a little more.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, will take you into your freedom.
And people can contact you and talk to you about stuff, right?
Yeah, honey, absolutely. You can email me. You can come on the show on Sundays, ask any questions that you want. All of the past shows are on iTunes and iHeart, and a lot of stuff on YouTube, and you can find me if you want to find me, like everything in life.
Well, okay, I think with that we'll probably wrap up this particular session, unless you got some...
Well, it's been a ball, Wes. I'm so glad we got to do this, and I hope everybody, comes to see me at Horror on Main.
In Harrisburg, it's down the street.
Yeah, great picture figures from my movies, and great stories, and a lot of great hugs. So come by and see me.
I will absolutely do that, because I live in Harrisburg, so it works for me.
Okay, you make sure you stop by and see me, okay?
I will absolutely do that, me and my wife, absolutely.
All right, sweetheart.
Okay, well, thank you for appearing on Flashback with Wes Britton, and folks, you got to hear the interviewer get stumped a few times there, but what the heck?
No, you didn't get stumped. You were just taken in and interested, and that's
yes.
That's a great thing to say about an interviewer,
Yeah, absolutely was absorbing, and I don't know, I took the Landmark Forum some years ago, and they have a concept called always already listening, where everybody's not really paying attention. They're waiting for their turn to talk.
Yes,
and that's what I try to avoid.
Well, that's a good thing for the business you're in.
Yeah.
Being present is important.
Well, great. Well, we can pick up this a bit at the end of, June, yes.
Okay. I'll see you there.
Absolutely, I promise.
All right. You have a great year till we get together, okay?
You got it. You too. Thank you.
All right, honey. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, we hope you enjoyed today's exciting episode of Flashback with Wes Britton, your open window of fresh air and new perspectives with experiences shared from entertainers from every walk of life who've influenced our lives in so many ways over the years. Come back every week for more FWB. And while I'm thinking about it, next time you're at Facebook, stop by the Flashback with Wes Britton Facebook page, hit the join link. No quizzes, no questionnaires, just your opportunity to get weekly bulletins of who's coming next on FWB here on the Artist First Radio Network.